Scenes from Wembley is a mix of jubilation, tension, depending on who you're looking at. The fans already celebrating. The 10 minutes are up and the full-time whistle has gone, Connor Wickham. Crystal Palace have won their first major trophy. They've beaten Manchester City to win the FA Cup final.
This club's just going to go absolutely wild. I'm so happy for them, man. I'm so happy for Steve and the owners. I know how much they've put into it, and look, you can just see, man.
We're seeing amazing scenes.
So
Eberechi Eze has gone down to his knees. He is looking up to the skies. Fans in the stands have taken their tops off. To a man, to a woman, they've got their phones out. They're filming these celebrations. Oliver Glasner has switched out of his suit into his lucky jumper, and it's proved worthwhile. The luck has counted for Crystal Palace, and they have won their first major trophy. But Manchester City and Erling Haaland look crestfallen.
They are, but I mean, Palace have done a job on them today. They've done exactly what they needed to do. They soaked up the pressure. They got them on the counter-attack, defended well, and looked comfortable for the majority of the game, even though City had most of the possession. And sometimes that's just what you need with the penalty save and, you know, the early miss from Haaland, the good save from Henderson. I think every Palace player there has been absolutely outstanding, and I think they've got what they fully deserve today. I'm so happy for this team, man.
They've performed brilliantly. They've gone out and won this trophy. Daniel Munoz had an assist for the Eze goal. He also had a goal disallowed himself. He was given the Player of the Match award, and he's now celebrating with all of his teammates and indeed commiserating with Josko Gvardiol as well. And Pep Guardiola's made his way on and is now shaking hands with all of the Crystal Palace players. Many of them have never experienced a feeling like this. Yeah,
I think this is going to be something that's going to be new to all of them, but I think this is what the club has been building towards. I think, you know, the infrastructure they're putting in place with the academy, the players, the squad, the first team building, I think the investments they're making, this makes everything worthwhile. And I think this is just going to, you know, propel the club to a whole new level, and this is nothing short of what they deserve. The managers come in this season, I don't think many people really knew what to expect, but he's absolutely masterminded it today. And, you know, I don't think watching these scenes do it any justice to being in that stadium at this moment in time.
What a job Oliver Glasner has done. A proven winner with Eintracht Frankfurt. He beat Rangers to win the Europa League a couple of seasons ago. He'll be playing in that competition with his new club, Crystal Palace. Never, ever competed in Europe. They will do next season. And the scenes of celebration are absolutely remarkable. Jean-Philippe Mateta is leading the dance on the field. Dean Henderson and all of the sub-goalkeepers are there. They're now over the barricades, in with the fans. The famous Holmesdale Ultras are all celebrating with them. Wonderful, wonderful scenes. Worth pointing out, I've just been told by one of our producers that there were words had between Pep Guardiola and Dean Henderson. Now that will, I would imagine, relate to the handball decision. Dean Henderson clearly handled the ball outside the area when Erling Haaland was bearing down on goal. VAR looked at it. No red card. Controversial one for everybody in the office here. What was your view of that?
I think it is, at the end of the day, by the book, it is a sending off. I mean, but that's sometimes the luck you need. And he's gone on to save the penalty, make a very good amount of good saves. He's had a brilliant game, yeah.
Still having words, Pep Guardiola.
Yeah, I think, you know, at the end of the day, he's got lucky. And that's sometimes what you need in this game. And this happens to be this one game of the season where, you know, there's a trophy riding on it.
Yeah, a trophy riding on it. It's Manchester City's first trophyless season since Pep Guardiola's first season, 2016-17. So used to lifting silverware at Manchester City, but it won't be happening this season. All of their focus will shift back to the Premier League and trying to finish as high up as they can, get into the Champions League. But today is all about Crystal Palace. We will find out exactly what Pep Guardiola had to say to Dean Henderson and what his thoughts are on some of the decisions on the field when we have the press conferences a little bit later on. We will bring you all of that right here on Sky Sports News. These celebrations are going to go on, you would imagine, in that stadium for at least another hour and then long into the night in London. I know you've got your own plans.
I know this party is going to last for not just tonight. This is going to last for weeks.
It certainly will.
That part of London is going to be a very good night if you're heading there tonight. But
Eberechi Eze has etched his name into Crystal Palace history, and Crystal Palace have etched their name onto the FA Cup trophy. They've beaten Manchester City by 1-0 at Wembley. The trophy lift is to come. Half of the stadium is thinning out rapidly, as it always does. The light blue half, they're all funneling out down Wembley Way, but those in the red and blue end, the Crystal Palace end, they will not be leaving. Congratulations, Crystal Palace, it says on the big screen. They're still dancing a jig. You've got Gary Cahill in there dancing with Dean Henderson. Amazing scenes, and we will continue to cover the fallout from this with Crystal Palace winning their first trophy. They've won the FA Cup.
And in 164 years of some ups and plenty of downs, they have never claimed a major trophy. This could just be their finest hour. It will be Crystal Palace, on the referee's say-so. We will get the 144th FA Cup final underway. City's 14th final, just Palace's third. Sean Beglin already keeping an eagle eye on the way that Manchester City are lining up, and we'll get a word from him on that in just a moment, because you never quite know, even when you see the team list, how Guardiola will line them up, and already an injury in the opening few seconds as well.
Yeah, it looks Doku from the left-hand side, which isn't a surprise, and Savinho obviously on the right, and it looks as if Marmoush is going to play the 10 role behind Haaland.
Bernardo Silva. Well, it invited the header, and Savinho tried to force his body in front of a couple of Palace defenders.
I mean, he's not renowned for his heading, Savinho, but I thought at one stage he's going to get on the end of this, and it was Mitchell who managed to get between Savinho and Marmoush.
Crystal Palace having to absorb quite a lot in the opening skirmishes of this FA Cup final. Savinho. This time a Kanji on the end of the corner kick.
Yeah, I think once it arrived to him, it was difficult for him because he's more or less heading it backwards.
Rare attack from Crystal Palace. It's the Colombian, Munoz. Oh, and hit first time! Eberechi Eze, the star man for Palace in the cup. Set up beautifully by Daniel Munoz. It's a proper sucker punch to City, because Palace have barely shown an attacking threat to this point. What a sweet finish from Eberechi Eze.
Well, it's incredible. I mean, it's just kind of a hopeful ball initially, but Mateta begins the breakaway, gets it back from Kamada, and now it's a case of Munoz, who's been superb of late. Who can he pick out? And it's Eze. And when Eze is arriving on anything that's into the box or just outside, you fancy his chances right now. He might have just taken a little glance off the defender as it went through, but it doesn't really matter, because it was always far enough away from Ortega. And incredible. That's the game. They haven't had a kick until now, and they're 1 up.
Amazing, really. And yet, should we be surprised? Marmoush, Bernardo Silva. Oh, and Mitchell committed himself to the challenge, and City are convinced that that should be a penalty. And Stuart Atwell, after much consideration, agrees.
Well, I must admit, first off, I thought so. The thing is, when you commit like that in the box, then you're basically giving the opposition a chance to use it to their advantage. And as soon as he saw Mitchell's legs on the ground, Bernardo Silva basically collapsed onto them and thought, yeah, I'm having some of that, and I'd be surprised if this is turned around.
Tyrick Mitchell, the homegrown left-back, actually played for AFC Wembley, grew up in neighbouring Harrow. And Erling Haaland has grabbed the ball. Kevin De Bruyne, the captain, coming for a word in his ear. They're still checking this, VAR, to make sure all is as it seemed, all is above board. Is there a nuance to that we're failing to spot?
No, it's yeah. The defender doesn't play the ball to start with, and John, any attacking player manipulates that situation to his advantage, and I think we saw just that from Bernardo Silva. That's the game nowadays. It's a penalty.
Well, it has withstood VAR inspection. The penalty stands. And after Haaland had collected the ball and De Bruyne had had a word, it's Omar Marmoush who's grabbed it. We shouldn't forget that Erling Haaland has had 3 penalty failures this season. So Marmoush gets the chance to take his first penalty for Manchester City. Dean Henderson has the task of trying to stop it. Omar Marmoush, who played much of his most successful club football for the Palace manager, Oliver Glasner. Marmoush, and Henderson equal to it. Haaland, Henderson plunges on it, and Henderson writes himself into cup final folklore by saving a spot kick.
Well, there's delirium at the Crystal Palace end. He guessed right, got something on it. It wasn't right in the corner from Marmoush to start with, and at a decent height for a goalkeeper too. Still, it's a fine save. And on the follow-up, listening to the VAR, they said that there was no touch. I think some are maybe saying that there might have been the slightest touch, which could have affected things, obviously, but it's been given, it's gone, and thanks to him, Crystal Palace are still 1 up.
And Haaland's blessing of the ball didn't do a whole lot of good. Started the season by winning an Olympic silver medal with France. Looking for FA Cup gold today. Eze still down after the initial challenge.
There will be a minimum of 3 minutes of additional time.
Pretty blatant.
2-0. Savinho, Doku,
well, all aboard the Manchester City Express, because something different seems to have kind of lifted their game in this second half so far. There's much more of a threat now, much more menace. And he was inches away, Doku. I worked it.